Hello, it's a pleasure to have Richie Faulkner from Elegant Weapons and, of course, of Judas Priest in Rock Hard Greece. Welcome,
Thank
Richie.
you, Sakis. It's good to see you again. Good to talk to you again. It's always good to talk to you because it's always exciting news. It's either Priest or Elegant Weapons or something exciting. So it's a pleasure to be here.
Or both.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes.
So you are about to release a brand new album with Elegant Weapons, and I could say, out of the blue, we didn't have any clue about this. I just received the first song, the press release, and the album, and say, okay, so it's Richie again. And the album is called Evolution, which suggests progress. What specifically has evolved since Horns for a Halo?
Well, yeah. We were on tour with Priest for the last couple of years, so there hasn't been much announced about this. We've been busy with the Priest. I think we started the Invincible Shield tour in 2024, and then we went into the Shield of Pain tour, which was Invincible Shield and Firepower. But all the way along, I've been, when we've had a break, I've been doing, Elegant Weapons work as well. So we did some guitars in the break, we did some bass in another break, we did the vocals and stuff. So it's been being done behind the scenes. And now it was a good time to release the record because it doesn't clash with the Priest schedule. Priest will be out in the summer in Europe, so this was a good time to release it. And as far as the evolution, we kept coming across those themes. The band has evolved since the first record. The first record was with Scott Travis and Rex Brown, and at the time we put it together. We didn't know if it was going to be, you know, we didn't know what it was going to be. It was COVID at the time, and no one knew about the future. The future was uncertain. So when live music came back again, Rex rejoined Pantera for the celebration of Pantera. Scott Travis has obviously got Priest stuff going on. So I got some great friends of mine, Davey Rimmer, Christopher Williams from Accept, and Uriah Heep, along with me and Ronnie, to carry on the band. And that's so I see it. We all see it as an evolution from that point of view as well. I think when we took the band out live, the songs grow. They become like different animals. They become live animals, and we connect with an audience, and the band grows like that as well. So I think there's an evolution when the band goes out live. Everything becomes different when you play live. You know what I mean? It becomes a living, breathing thing. And we felt as well that the the songs on this record are different to the first record. There's a few different things on this album as well. There's a couple of slower tracks. There's a ballad on this track, which I felt at the time of the first record, the songs weren't finished, or I didn't think they were appropriate for the first release. And I feel like we've come to the point now where the songs are finished and they were appropriate to show some growth, and they felt right. They felt strong. They felt right. Um, so all those things really, the evolution of the band members and how the band has come along since then, and the songs, we feel like it's been an evolution on all those fronts. And also some of the subject matter on in some of the songs deals with the evolution of us, of humans, where we're going, AI and the internet and stuff like that. And it's not really, it's a little bit subdued. It's not obvious. It's kind of a subtle uh, theme of the record. So evolution seemed like an appropriate title for the album, and the artwork as well. The artwork is indicative of that. It's the fembot on the front is kind of depicting who we're going to become. Are we going to become this cyborg alien race in the future? And she's looking at a bird, a baby bird, which is the like an innocent, pure form of nature, and it's the coming from nature to what we might become. So that's an evolution as well. So we saw that evolution word um, fitting a lot of angles on the record. So we decided to call it that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and having your touring lineup now as a recording lineup makes Elegant Weapons 100% normal band. I mean, not a side project, not something to work on when you were off schedule with Judas Priest and stuff. How important was it to have the touring lineup as your recording lineup a permanent as permanent members?
I think it was very important for me, really. And it wasn't really a question. When I asked the guys to join, Christopher and Davey, I asked them to join the band. I didn't ask them to join as touring members or studio guys. I asked them to join the band. I knew Rex and Scott had other things going on, and that was great. So when I asked them to join, I asked them to join the band, and it was always my goal to have a band that was like Priest did. They started it from nothing and they built up the band. And Priest has been going for more than 50 years. So, I mean, it's amazing, really, to do. We're really grateful and happy to be doing a second record, a second album, and hopefully we'll do some more dates. And it was always my intention to be a band, a band that evolves and releases records and does tours like Priest did. So, when I asked them, it was important for them to be in the band, not just live guys or session guys. It was this is the band now,
Mm-hmm. I think that the song is the instrumental song of the album called Rapture, which is I think it's when someone hears the story behind the song, it's hair-raising. I mean, I don't know how even you pulled it off and recorded this instrumental, because it's very personal and it's about your health scare you had a few years ago. Can you tell us how difficult was it to translate that experience into music? And of course, luckily enough, the flatlining at the end did not happen, and we're here to speak.
Yes, yeah. So really, it's a good question. It's a reference, really. It's what happened was I had the piece, I had the guitar bit, and I put it down. I recorded it, and I could hear like a pulse, like a heartbeat. I could hear it in there somewhere. So from that moment, sometimes you write songs, and especially instrumentals, you can see a movie in your head, and I could see a movie, and it wasn't exactly my own experience, but I could draw from that experience, and I could imagine someone on a hospital bed and they're drifting in and out of consciousness, and I could see the machines and the wires tied to them, keeping them alive, and I could feel the turmoil, I could feel the tension in the music, and I could feel the hope. There's hope in there as well. And so it wasn't directly about me, but it drew from that experience, absolutely, with the heartbeat and everything. And as you said, at the end, it flatlined. So luckily, yeah, I didn't flatline, but for the dynamic of the song and the album, it flatlines, and then the next song kind of crashes in and wakes everything up. So that's what happened. I thought it was an interesting song. I was kind of the long story is I was talking to I played a song with Tool at the Bridgestone Arena at the time, so I was I had to learn a Tool song, and it's such a technical piece of music to learn. Just one song took me maybe 2 weeks to learn, and so there was a lot of that kind of stuff going around in my head at the time, and I think that's where that riff came from. That kind of odd time signature. So it wasn't really it didn't really have I didn't have any vocals for it, but when I heard that pulse and that I can imagine a heartbeat, and then the movie started playing in my head. So some music has that, that movie that we can kind of relate to, and that's how it came about.
Yeah, and you lived in that movie, but you couldn't see what was going on over there. That's very, very weird. Um, uh, Elegant Weapons on paper, it could be called, or is in fact, a supergroup. but how do you avoid sounding like a supergroup?
I don't really know. I've been asked this a lot. I don't really know. Um, whenever anyone refers to a supergroup, it sounds like a negative thing. So I don't quite know why. I always want the band that I'm in to
Why?
be great.
Because people have very high expectations.
Uh,
Judging, it's like having four star members, and
uh,
it's like one plus the other plus the other plus the other, which can
right,
happen, and
right.
the expectations surpass the reality.
I understand. Yeah, and I think that's a natural thing. You know what I mean? Um, I've said it before. I'm really lucky to have great musicians as great friends. Initially Scott and Rex were in the band, and then it was Davey and Christopher and Ronnie. Um, I think people judge it the way they want to judge it, and if they listen to the music and like it, they can call it what they want. I've got no problem with that at all. Um, we're just a band. We put the band together because I think we're all in different bands. Priest, except Uriah Heep. Ronnie's got his own thing. He was in Black Rainbow and Schenker and stuff. But we're all in the same mindset that these bands might not be around forever, and if that day comes, sometimes if it comes someday where they choose to retire, we can hopefully take this band and that DNA that we've got from those bands and move it into the future. Um, we're just a band, and we want to make the best songs we can, and make as much music as we can. That's what we want to do, really. And yeah, I think people can call it whatever they want as long as they're giving it a chance, and
Yeah,
that's okay with me, really.
yeah, and of course that's kind of leading to the next question. But what happens next when the bands that you play retire because they're much older than you? Uh, what I was always saying about Elegant Weapons is that it has nothing to do with Judas Priest, just their
Mhm.
guitar player, which is it sounds more like a modern Michael Schenker band,
Mhm.
I could say, than a band whose guitar player plays in Judas Priest. Uh, which is that need that made you create something different than Judas Priest? Because playing so many shows with Judas Priest, it's in your veins now. Playing like this kind
It's
of
a
stuff.
great it's a great question. I don't quite know. It was. I mean, as musicians, we have lots of different influences and different tastes and different styles, I think, to our playing. And it's a huge compliment, by the way, that you said that. Thank you. That it sounds like its own thing. When I put it together, I wanted it to sound like its own thing. If the album sounded like Judas Priest, there'd be no point. That's what we do with Priest, and I wanted it to have its own character. So the fact that it does, I'm really grateful for. Um, I don't quite know. I don't know if I had a need to do it. I put the songs together, and I didn't know. I didn't know what was going to come out. I put the songs there, and I didn't know if I had a group of songs or an EP or an album initially. But I knew it had to sound different. I knew it had to sound like its own thing, and luckily it did. Um, I don't know really. I don't know if there was a need to do it. It was just. I think a big part of it is when I write with Priest, it's me, Rob, and Glenn, and there's three of us with those ideas. And the Priest character is really strong. We know a Priest song when we hear it. And with the Elegant Weapons, it's only me writing at the moment, so maybe that's why it's so different. Um, but then I write Priest stuff as well. So I don't know. It's just another part of my DNA, I think, and I'm lucky to have that opportunity to let both sides shine through. Really,
Yeah. Uh-huh. The only Priest connection in this album again is Andy Snip. Do you feel in a
yeah,
kind of a comfort zone being with him, working with him?
yeah, I think so. I think there's no other. It's not even a thought. When I got the songs together and I knew there was a second album, there was no other guy for the job. I asked Andy if he could do it. He said yeah. Um, we work well together. I think this is the fourth album I've done with Andy. The next Priest record will be the fifth album. We work well together. He understands the difference between Priest and this. Um, you know, and it's a different thing. He always says Priest is Priest, and this is a bit more hard rocky, you know, it's a bit more rock. So he likes the difference, and I trust him. You know, he's good to work with, and I think it's good when you can trust a producer, you know, like that. You need someone to tell you when it needs to be better, you know. And he definitely does that. So yeah, it's not. We have a saying: is if it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know.
Yeah.
And we've done some great work together. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know.
When did you change label and went to Exciter Records? This record label is, I think, it's uh, only for Judas Priest and family related, because so far it has released the two first Judas Priest albums, re-release and the Elegant Weapons one.
That's right. Yeah. At the moment, well, what happened? What happened is, I needed a new label from Nuclear Blast. Nuclear Blast didn't. They didn't want the second option for the next album, so I had to look around for another label. I had a couple of offers, but Exciter, as you said, they've been a publishing company for a long time, and they made the label so that they could get these two records by pre the first two records that were with Gold Records before. And they saw this as an extension of the family. You know, they had the two Priest records and the Elegant Weapons record. So it was, as you said, it was in the family still.
Yeah.
And it's a very hands-on. They don't have anyone else at the moment on the label, so it's me and the two Priest records. So we have a very hands-on relationship. I call the label, they call me. If we've got ideas, I go to them, they come to me. So it's great like that. It's like a very small relationship and a very direct one, you know, which I really like. And there's no limitations. If we're putting the record out next month, and if we decide in 2-3 months to put out another single or do something else, we'll do it. Whereas traditionally, um, with other labels, you can put the record out, you do your promotion window, and then that's it. Yeah, you know. So with this approach, there's none of that limitation. So we're looking forward to maybe doing another push later on in the year, and then who knows? So that's why I decided to go with them, and it's working out fine so far. You know.
Yeah, and their focus is solely on you. They just focus on Elegant Weapons now. They have nothing else.
No, no, and it's all about me, man. It's you know, it's no, but as you said, it's at the moment with no other artist, it's the thing that they're concentrating on, as well as the first two Priest records. That's still
Yeah, of
important for
course,
them
yeah.
as well.
Yeah, but these
Um,
are really re-releases, which
yeah,
is a totally different thing.
yeah.
Um, how do the guest contributions from Jared James Nichols and Adam Wakeham fit in the band's identity?
Well, on the first record, there was a few keyboard bits as well. There was a few kind of, but I kind of played those, and they weren't really, they were quite easy bits, like layers and pads underneath everything. Um, so I can handle that. But there was a couple of songs on this record where we needed a proper player, you know. So Davey actually suggested Adam, and I reached out and asked him, and it comes alive, you know. The way the Hammond is played by Adam, and the way the rotary speaker spins and slows down and speeds up, the instruments are live, you know, and it really brought these two tracks to life. I think it's come back to me, and Keeper of the Keys he plays on. And at the end of Keeper of the Keys, it really kind of rocks out at the end, and it really comes alive. It brought the band alive, I thought, with the Hammond. And Jared as well. Jared's a good friend of mine. And we were out one evening, and I had a song that I thought would be appropriate. It's a bluesy song. It's called Thrown to the Wolves. And it's a bluesy song. There were two solos in it in different keys, and I'd done one already, and I thought it would be perfect. And I asked Jared if he could possibly do a solo for me, and he came over. He put it down in 2 or 3 takes, and it takes me about 20 takes these days, you know, to put a solo down. And he came around and put it down in 3, and it sounded great. You know, he's got a lot of fire, a lot of nuance, and a lot of heart that Jared has, and that he's known for, and it sounds great. So yeah, I'm really grateful to those guys for coming around and doing that. I think, you know, it's just a little bit of extra interest for the album as well.
Yeah, and the only member of the band I think who came and recorded in Nashville was the drummer. Um, How important was capturing live drum energy in Nashville before everything else?
I think it's really important. We did it on Firepower. We weren't able to do it on Invincible Shield because of the pandemic, but we did it on Firepower. So me, Davey, and Christopher got together in a room, and it was actually before the first record came out. It was I had the songs ready, um, so we got in a room. We recorded everything, Christopher, myself, and Davey, and we kept the drums because you get that spontaneous interaction between the players. You know, if I did something that was spontaneous, Christopher feeds off it and he plays with it. Or if if one of the members pushes a little bit, we go with it. Or you get that live, spontaneous feel. I think it was, which is important. And if you capture the drums like that, you can then go back and put the guitars on properly and the bass on properly. But I think that having the drums captured like that as the basic foundation for the songs, I think it makes it better. It makes it more alive, and more exciting. So yeah, it was important. We did it like that.
Mhm. What is Judas Priest currently doing recording-wise? Shall we see a new album in due course of time?
Yeah, well, we just spent a month in the studio in February, putting down the tracks for the next record. Funny enough, we did it the same way as I just said. So me, Scott, and Ian were in a room together, and what we did, we had the songs. They were maybe 80%, demos. We had they weren't completely finished, so that's perfect. The songs are kind of there, but they could take an extra 15-20% of arranging different things that come out of three guys playing together, so we've put down the basic tracks. We haven't got a release date or anything like that, but we've started. So there will be another record, and but the sessions went really well. We've got too many tracks. We'll probably have to keep some back. We're looking for a classic sort of 10 track record, um, which is always tough. It's always tough to kind of keep stuff back, and just put 10 on a record. But that's the classic number, 10 tracks on a record. So we've started. Yeah, yeah. So we've started, and it's sounding really good. It's sounding pretty classic.
Mm-hmm. We're definitely sure about that because the latest Priest albums where you take part in, it's like you have kicked energy into the band. I mean, it's like an injection of energy, and it's as if we hear the classic 80s Priest, especially in Firepower and Invisible Shield. I mean, everybody's talking about that. And before the end, which is the Judas Priest song that you would love to play live and haven't done so far?
What a great question. I'd love to play Reckless.
Mm-hmm.
We rehearsed it once. I think we rehearsed it. I can't remember. We were rehearsing for a tour. I don't remember if it was the Firepower tour or Invincible Shield tour. I can't remember which one it was, but we rehearsed it, and for one reason or another, we didn't do it. I'd like to play Reckless. I know Andy wants to play Island of Domination. He always wants to play Island of Domination. Um, um, yeah, I'd go with Reckless. That's. I mean, there's so many that keep coming up, from time to time.
Yeah, but the first one counts.
The first one comes for a reason, absolutely. Yeah, so I'd say Reckless.
Yeah. So thank you very much for your time, Richie. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sakis. Hopefully, we'll be talking to you again soon with the new Priest record.
Yeah.